How's it going, guys? And this is going to be a scanning guide for newbies. Now, I have two other guides related to gas harvesting, and if you've already trained and started doing that, well, guess what? You already have the skills. This is a way you can branch off and do the scanning. I typically make about 50 mil an hour on average, and that's pretty decent money for the little work that's required. It's relatively safe. There is some risk. What you want to primarily do is wormhole space is where I like to do all of my scanning. Now, you can definitely get really good drops and make a ton once in a while. Same thing with null sec. But I find that high sec and low sec it's not really worth the time, at least for me personally. I just find it's more efficient to do wormhole or null sec only. In low sec, you can get anywhere from 5 to 15 mil, but it's usually on the low end most of the time. So much so that I just pass them all. I don't bother with them. But the wormhole ones, oh yeah, good stuff. So you could start with a basic frigate, but ideally what you want to do is get yourself an Astero. Now the Astero requires a Mar frigate level 3 and Galante frigate level 3. And so the skill books are pretty cheap. This will bring you in at about 18 hours of training time, which isn't bad. Now the reason you want this ship is because you get a 37% bonus to core probe strength, and the big one here is the 10 bonus to relic and data analyzer virus strength. In high sec and low sec, don't have to worry about hacking power that much. But when you do the harder sites in null and wormhole space, now the hacking power actually makes a difference. In fact, I recommend putting hacking rigs on the Astero. That way you can hack those sites a little easier, because man, some of those are rough, and it's really nice to have that bonus. So unfortunately, the Astero, looking at the market, runs about 56 mil. Sounds a little pricey, I know. But again, if you do the gas harvesting from other guide, you can make that relatively quickly. Plus, you'll make this money back in an hour using the ship, so that's something to consider too. It's a quick turnaround on your investment. You'll use this ship from now on and go into a wormhole. You'll scan down all your gas sites. While you're there, you'll knock out all the data and relic sites. Leave, come back with your gas harvester and huff all the gas out of there, and it'll be nice and efficient, much faster to scan, so you get the best of both worlds. So for the fit, you want a core scan probe launcher. You don't want the expanded. The expanded is designed so it can hold combat probes too, because they're larger. The problem is it requires a ridiculous amount of CPU, so you'll have to use like 3 co-processors just to fit that thing on there. Don't even worry about it, you don't need it. Next, you'll want a data analyzer and a relic analyzer. Now there are modules out there that is like kind of a 2-for-1 deal. And if you don't have the skills to use T2, then go for it. It's okay. But you want to use the T2 versions of the data analyzer and relic analyzer when you get the skills, because they have stronger strengths individually. And it's a long skill to take those to 5 to be able to use those, but you'll see when you start doing this where it will come in handy. So far I have data analyzer tech 2, which is nice. I'm still working on the relic one though. But yeah, it's needed later. Trust me, some of these wormholes, like the higher level you go, as far as the C rating, like when you get into 4s and 5s, it starts to get painful, and you really need that hacking power. And you'll start blowing up structures and stuff when you're trying to hack. But it's well worth it. Now I'm going to do a little time lapse here of me spending about an hour, and all I did is went into a wormhole. In this case, I ignored everything but the data sites, just so I can show you. It's relatively easy to do. And then once I was done, I made 50 mil just by scanning. It was pretty relaxing. And as a bonus, as you skill, you can move up to the Stratos. And what's great about that is you bring a mobile depot with you, and you can fit for PvP. So what I usually use that, and then if I find players, I'll kill them, and then refit and do the data sites, and it's all in one fit. I can just fit on the fly, and it works out pretty good. It's great for hunting and making money both at the same time. And of course, when you kill players, you make more money. It's just money all around. You can't go wrong. So let's do some scanning. So there you can see there's 50 mil in my inventory there. Didn't take very long, and I have my own procedure the way I do this. I go into a wormhole. I will scan and bookmark every site. Once they're all bookmarked, I will warp to the first one, do it, and then remove that bookmark. And then warp to the next one. That way I don't get them mixed up, and I just continue in that fashion until they're all done. There are... if you're doing this for the first time, take your time. Mouse over each thing and kind of just read what they do. I will point out two things that you need to know. There's two things you have to take care of right away. This first one here, if you see this pop up, you want to knock it out as quickly as possible. This reduces your virus hacking strength. And while that's up, it makes you much weaker when you attack the firewalls and other things. So you need to knock that out. Also, you'll notice there's the round circles there. They're glowing. Now, in low and high sec, they're good. Not here. There's a 50-50 chance. You don't know what it could be bad or it could be good. So I tend to leave them unless I really need like health or a bonus to, if I know I'm not going to make it, I'll start opening those. Just think of them as like a present, and hopefully there's something good inside. And that's usually when I reserve that for the end if I think I need something. The last one here is you have to attack this right away as well. When this pops up, all the little firewalls around it will do damage to you when it attacks each turn. So you want to knock this out quickly before it takes you out. That's going to pretty much conclude this guide. There's a lot more that could be said, but I want you to go out there and enjoy that discovery. I like learning new things, and what I showed you today is a lot to get started, a lot more than I had going into it. I kind of learned everything on my own, and I'd read occasionally. But all the information I gave you, you know what you're going to make, your investment, and the two major things to look out for, which I had to learn the hard way. Now you don't, So you can go out there, have a little fun, and in the future, if you continue to train for those combat skills, I'll do a little outtake now of some of the fun I had when I was out looking for these sites. And you guys have a good evening. funny. I'm tired. It took me a second, but that's funny. Oh, he deposited. Look at that, man. Donald Trump gave me a $1 million deposit. Oh, that's great. And it takes a ridiculous amount of CPU, so you don't want that one. And then you just need a data and whatever it is. What's happening, guys? This is going to be a scanning guide for new players. Now, if you followed my guest harvesting guide, you've already had the appropriate skills, and you can continue to... You're close to the microphone, man. Can't do this. Don't sniff the microphone. It's my microphone, kitty.